friends. My name is Sarah Stark. I'm a repertory company actor with the Pigeon Creek Shakespeare Company, as well as a cast member of A King and No King. I played Spaconia, one of the swordsmen, the second one, and second citizen's wife as well. So today I'm doing a brief vlog just to talk to you a little bit about my process in creating a character and also how that's affected filming remotely as opposed to my process on a live stage play. So first of all, step one is I need to print my text, all of it. I need my lines because I need that blank white space to be able to play. The next thing I do is I begin to orient. I really want to just immerse myself in the world that this playwright has created, as well as the world of my characters, you know. So I'll do a lot of things that involve Google. Basically, I like to look up plot summaries, find out more information about the author or co-authors in this case, and what types of other works they've done, what are some of the predominant themes that we see both in this work and a lot of their other works, what are the given circumstances of the world that we're creating, what era are we in, what is the basic plot line, etc., etc. And a lot of that work we do as a cast together just through our initial read-throughs and discussions, but I like to really explore for myself too, and whatever questions pop up, just get some answers to those and start building specificity and confidence in my knowledge of this world that I'm creating with my team. So after that, the text work begins, and I just want to emphasize throughout my entire process, the pillar of it is that I continue to read the text over and over and over again, especially the scenes that I am in and my characters are featured. I just really want that language to become very familiar with me, because the more time it kind of has to seed in my brain, the more it will germinate into something that's detailed and layered and can contain truth and add value to the performance. So always, always, always reading throughout this entire process. But when I start with the text, now again, this is where printing it out comes in handy, because then I have this little playground that I can notate. And what I like to do specifically is make my lines nice and big so they really pop out, but then I do include the lines too that cue my lines or of relationships I have with other characters as well, because it's very important too to see how the characters' words are inspired by that relationship or the other character's lines. So first of all, what I like to do always, if you can kind of see, is I break down the punctuation. So I have this little system for myself that really helps me get an idea of when there's shifts and turns. You know, for example, when there's a semicolon or a comma, I know that that's a partial shift in thought, but not a complete one, as opposed to a period might be, or an exclamation mark, a question mark, that kind of thing. You know, and I like to use green and red, just color code the difference for myself. And then I also indicate if the line is jammed at the end or if it follows through. It's a run through line, because that also helps me get an idea of what my vocal energy will be doing in presenting that line, as well as what the character's train of thought is, right? It says a lot if a character has constant stops and interruptions as opposed to this fluid progressing line of thought. And it tells you a lot about their emotional state right off the bat. So that's really important to me. It helps memorization, it helps comprehension, and yeah, emotional state as well. Just so many things in that little exercise. So after that, I like to identify the beats within the overall scene so I can get an idea of the scope. You know, where does my character begin at the top of the scene? I definitely look at the given circumstances to inform that as well, of course, but I establish their starting point, their end point, and then I like to see the journey of how they get there, how they progress throughout the scene. And I'll just indicate that and mark that as kind of an interruption or shift with each beat within the plot of the scene. So after that, again, this is kind of a basic run through of a couple steps, depending on the part or the play or whatever time of season it is, whatever acting technique I'm particularly interested in, I might layer in different approaches. But for now, this is a glimpse into what I did for this particular project. So the next step is I get to play. And this is my favorite part because this is where I just really let my imagination go wild. Because at this point, I have enough basic familiarity that I feel confident and I know what's going in with the scene. And now I just really want to connect. I want to find the universal truth that's being presented here, get an idea of the real obstacles and stakes at hand for the character here as well. And there's a lot of things that, honestly, I'll just go through it. A lot of times I do like to use action verbs, you know, and assign those to each part of thought that I have. So each little paragraph or chunk of thought that I have. For example, with the swordsman, one of them is to unscrew, right? And that revolves his relationship with the other swordsman. He gets upset by something that he says and he's trying to like, that was interesting. I'm just gonna look into this a little bit, right? And it just helps you having a more active thought behind that line. And also, if you notice, it kind of did something to the quality and tone of my voice too, which is helpful to explore as an actor as well in presenting this character. Another thing I was super interested in this in particular, just because me as a person has been into this, is chakras. So I incorporated that, the idea of what chakra is really active or what energy in this moment is really conscious for that character, right? And it's interesting because with the swordsman, and I even drew little pictures too, because that, again, it's about fun, it's about play, so that helps me stay engaged and enjoy my work. And I think some of the best creation comes from joy. So I drew little chakras, and then it's so interesting because I could see this progression throughout the scene of him starting kind of, or having moments where he's in this crown chakra and then dropping all the way to the root and all the levels in between. And what I say when I talk about chakras is I just, you know, they each have a different emotional quality if you really look at them. And so I like to think about that, like the root chakra, for example, to be supported is the mantra. I think of that. So, you know, those moments where the character is really fearful and it's almost like they've lost a sense of ground beneath them, you know, that's a great time to just concentrate on that root chakra being disrupted, right? And feeling that energy gone. Another thing I like to do with that in particular, it reminds me of the Michael Chekhov exercise of falling, you know, just even physically taking a moment to just fall back and then feel that kind of visceral fear in your body that can help really inform the choices that you make and can be fun to play with. So chakras were a fun thing with that for me as well. Sometimes I just imagine like a physical body position too, because for me, like really tapping into the physical helps quite a bit. I'm a pretty strongly physical actor, so that happens to be my thing. It could work for you too, but everyone has their own techniques that they love. So again, sometimes I just see a mental image, you know, too, like in this particular line, I just thought of a merry-go-round that you see in a kid's playground, and that just kind of informs the choice for me more. And then I just continue to look at what's really happening. Oh, here's a moment where I feel rejected. Here's a moment where we're disagreeing, and carve out the path that's being formed by what I'm saying, my objective, and the obstacles I'm hitting in terms of the relationships that I'm playing with. So yeah, that's a great way to put it. Basically, again, it's pretty random. It just comes from my mind and heart, and that's what makes it fun. And the final, most important key when it comes to the time that you're ready to perform is listening. When you are lucky to be able to run this material with your scene partners, to really try to just listen. And I think that's been the biggest kind of challenge doing remote filming, honestly, for pretty much the first time. I've done it here and there, but never a staged reading fully remotely like this, is being able to fully listen because you have that physical disconnect. So it's something that I was very aware of in this process, and definitely an area for improvement. I'm looking forward to work again with each further remote project that I do. So thank you for taking the time to listen today. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Be sure to tune in and check out our production of A King and No King, presented soon by Pigeon Creek Shakespeare Company.